practice tests like a week before the other test actually started, so that's how I prepared.
I started studying since I knew the date, but I genuinely took it seriously 2 weeks before the test, as I wanted to see how good can I genuinely do by trying my hardest.
I studied for the test by doing a few practice tests, and I also did it the day before the test.
Prepare myself with my mother's help. She's very supportive. She gave me challenging questions from my maths reader and via online. And I started preparing at least 25 or 30 days before the test. I didn't study specifically, but I still did some model tests. And also, I think I studied 2 weeks before it. I have an amazing mentor who helps me out with math and even English. We worked on past papers quite a bit to help me reach my goals. Before the competition, we've practiced for over 3 weeks, and my focus was on those tricky word problems and mind-scratching questions. You know, the ones that make you read them over and over again until they finally click?
We practiced for the International Maths Challenge by buying the package where I can do practice tests from the year before, and I also practiced on mathematics, which were assignments assigned by my teacher, and I also made sure to study really hard in class. And we started to study about 3 days before the actual thing.
So I started studying the test about 10 days before the actual test came about, and we just did the practice tests that were given to us. We took 10 practice tests, and I just did those ones methodically and just tried it and got the answers and see how I went. And the tests were actually a pretty accurate representation of how I did in the actual exam.
I studied for this test using the practice test papers that I was given. It really helped me know the timings and the questions that I was given during the test. Overall, through the year, I worked hard in class, and progressively I kept on sharpening my math skills, and so that's how I could crack the test and get good results.
So specifically for the test, I did papers given by the same challenge. I did those, and they were very helpful. They gave similar types of questions to the actual competition. And also for preparation, I studied by myself as well, studying like different topics in school as well, which also helped me in the competition.
I got ready for the test by doing a lot of practice tests that were provided with the test itself. I started about 4 weeks before the competition in order to get some time to do all the tests.
I've done a couple of other maths competitions such as ICAS and AMC, so I had some previous experience from them over the last few years about the nature of problem-solving questions.
I studied for the test by using practice papers that were part of the package when we signed up for the Olympiad, and I started studying once the practice papers came out, like at the nearest weekend or just on the day itself. And every day I would do round 1 and then review it the next day.
So I studied a lot for the test. Every day I do a few questions, which is pretty high level for me, little by little. But especially before the test, my teachers helped me a lot by giving me some example questions, which I think made me succeed in the exams.
I studied from school. I also studied by reading some mathematics books, and each day afterwards, I also do math.
I did lots of the practice tests. I didn't do it every day, and I also did some in school. And I started that about 2.5 weeks before the final test.
I did the 10 sheets of the practice work for the test, and I completed all of them. I don't know which day exactly I started, but I think it was 4 to 6, and I did 2 each day, except for one of the days when I did 3. But I remember doing the 9th one and the 10th one, and all I remember is that I did the 10th one on the day that I did the test, and I did the 9th one the day before that. That's all I remember.
I studied for the International Math Challenge test 2 weeks prior, and I mostly use the paper, the training digitally, and sometimes my parents helped me and taught me stuff to get it, but I just focused on doing that, and then I did not play, I just focused on studying for the test.
I think I studied about a week before the test, and I studied them with my school math teacher so I can go over all the practice tests and prepare well.
Me and my mom practiced some sort of practice questions about 1 week before the test, and then that's how I got ready.